If I'd have said as a kid, I want to be a professional gamer growing up, my mum would have been like, you are nuts. Whereas now, it's like a legitimate sport, career, and everything in between. Like even, I guess, with yourself, it would have been so difficult for you to articulate what you do now as a kid. Whatever it is, double down on it. I'm a firm believer now that there's no niche too small. So what is your workflow like? So you record your videos and then you send them out to be edited in Romania, basically?
Basically, yeah. And then
you'll comment, I'd assume, because it's never going to be perfect first time, or how does that work?
Yeah, so for the first 2 years, there was a round of review where I would comment on things. We'd upload it to a website called Frame.io where you can
we love Frame.io.
Frame.io is great. Affiliate link in the video description if we get one. But now, like recently, Christian, who's my main editor and who was employee number one, he said that, hey, me reviewing footage is always a bit of a bottleneck. Yeah. Because if I'm out, then, whatever. He was like, is there any need for you to review it? Mm-hmm. I had a thought about it. I was like, no, you're right. There isn't really any need for me to review it. Mm-hmm. And so now videos come out twice a week. And Angus is like, oh yeah, we've got videos come out. I'm like, oh yeah. I can't even remember which one that was because we filmed it 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And we're getting into this like production.
That's cool. That's really
production
cool,
company mindset. And I think one of the things that resonated with what you said is finding people and building systems to combat your own weaknesses. Mm-hmm. So my weakness, ironically, is that I suck at motivating myself to film videos when I'm on my own.
Really?
And it always felt like such a heavy lift. Like, work. I'd give myself, 5 hours to film a video and I'd procrastinate for 4.5 and then I'd film it right at the end.
No way. I wouldn't expect that of you.
Yeah, mate. I think when I was working full time, I had to film a video in 2 hours in the evening.
Because you had to be
Parkinson's law, wake up early before going on call, that kind of thing. But when I took a break from medicine intending to travel the world, which then didn't happen because of COVID, I was like, I've got the whole day to film a video. Yeah. And then it takes the whole day to film one video. Yeah. So now every Thursday we have a filming day where Angus comes over, is behind the camera, and it's like, all right, Ali, chop, come on, let's do another one, let's do the thumbnails. And that's been really good. It's just so nice working with other people.
So how does that work creatively then? Like video ideas, thumbnails, obviously titles, how does that work?
Yeah, so we've got a team. So we have, every Monday we have like a content editorial meeting with me, Angus, our writers. And everyone rocks up to that meeting with 3 ideas for videos. Yeah. So titles, thumbnails, and talking points. And then I would look through them with Angus and we would give them the green light, be like, really like that one, don't really like this one, here's some feedback about that one. And they would work on the video idea, the concept for the next week. And the following Monday, we'd have like the full video basically ready. Yeah. And then I would kind of go through it to be like, okay, if I were actually filming this based on these points, I'd add a story about my life over there, a Harry Potter reference over there, we'll put a story from medicine over there. Mm-hmm. And then the video is ready to film. Yeah. So that when it comes to Thursday, we can bang, film 4 videos in a day.
So when you say like bang, are you talking... what would it look like to you? So someone else has come up with an idea. Are you having a script? Are you having key messages? Are you just having a title? What does that look like?
Yeah, so title, thumbnail, and talking points. Okay. So bullet points. I don't like reading from a script. Yeah. It feels very inauthentic and it's a bit of a nightmare.
Impossible.
So I just like bullet points. And the team, like over time, like they've seen all my videos, and so they know what examples from my life I could use for different things. Let's say we're talking about imposter syndrome. Yeah. They will have written, oh, you can talk about when you were directing the hospital pantomime. Yeah. I was like, that's a good point. Yeah, I can talk about that. And it feels really weird and nice that people know my life so well that they can tell me what examples I'm going to be using for stuff.
Because that's the thing that always fascinates me. So is scalability, because ultimately you are one person, and if you're going to be recording, then the guys will always need you. So I'm really interested to see how that sort of becomes scalable. Or do you do it through all the different arms of the business and the channels and the products and things like that?
Yeah, so the thing that the vision I set for us, I think it was this time 2 years ago, I wrote it on a page in Notion, being like, basically, I want us to get to a point where the only thing I'm having to do is talk to a camera. Yeah. Because I think that's the only aspect of the business in which I add unique value in being me. Yeah. To an extent in like idea generation, but like even that can be outsourced to someone who's good at it. And so now we're actually pretty close to that point where the only thing I really do for the YouTube channel is talk to a camera once a week. What I didn't realize at the time is that being kind of the CEO kind of role is actually mostly about having meetings with people and organizational clarity and setting vision, setting goals and tracking metrics and stuff. Hiring is a big one. Mm-hmm. We're looking to hire 5 more people, and that's been such a bottleneck for me because we have no process for hiring. We've just been making it up as we went along. Mm-hmm. And now I've discovered there's all these like platforms like Workable and stuff where you can post a job description and they will do the applicant tracking and stuff. rather than
I've
a
not heard of that.
Google form,
Yeah.
which is what we used before. And so that's kind of where we ended up, like once a week for the YouTube channel. But the thing I love about your setup, and when you mentioned you were going to bring the videographer, I was like, yes, because what I'm imagining is I would love to have a James who can like travel with me, especially as I want to travel around the world and stuff.
Yeah.
And often I find that in conversations with the team or in conversations with friends asking for advice about anything,
Yeah.
I often just come out with bangers and I'm like, oh, I wish
I wish
someone were here to film
recorded.
this. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's cool. That's really cool. But yeah, like I said, for me, the fact that we get on is massive. You should come to Gymshark though. You should look around our studios because granted it's slightly different, but then we'll have the full creative sort of suite and team. I think you'd love it.
Sick. We're actually looking for a studio to film an online course about productivity.
Come and have a look.
Can we do it?
Genuinely, come and have a look.
Sick.
So we've got we've got all the e-com studios, and we've got
Yeah.
something called Studio X, which is basically an innovation studio. We would build full gym sets in there. So there's campaigns we've done where you've got like people in the gym, but they're not actually in a gym. The whole thing's just been built in that studio.
Nice.
So-
Okay, that's really cool.
You should definitely come and have a look.
Yeah, because my personal trainer at the moment, he's got like a home gym in his garage. And so we've sort of been filming a bit of content for the Instagram there.
Yeah. Honestly, come and have a look. You'd love it. We've got all the studios. We've got the podcast studio. It's absolutely brilliant because similar to what you do is like we consider content as much of a product as this top. It's exactly the same. So content's massive for us.
Yeah, I think I don't know any other brand in your thing that does content as well as you guys do. It's like most of them just don't do content. They do like expensive advertising campaigns that run a single video and that's it.
Yes, I know. And like I think it's just because it's been the lifeblood of the business since day one. And I think growing up, like I'd watch TV, I'd watch sort of Match of the Day and stuff, but beyond that, everything was on YouTube and it was all content. And all of a sudden, when you realise that you can play your part in that, it just you end up building a business around and a brand around that content and community.
Nice. One thing I want to ask, so who are the kind of mentors through either in real life, books, podcasts, who have inspired you over the years that people should check out?
So I don't have like a defined group of mentors, and I don't have people that I will regularly check in with as a mentor. I know some people at Gymshark will do that, and it seemed to work really well for them. Steve and Paul, who were the sort of original people that helped professionalise the business in the early days, have been massive to me. I've got a lot of friends. Again, I keep mentioning Jars, one of the most inspiring people I've met, and like a very creative CEO. He's not a CEO as you would sort of expect. Harley at Shopify, I'll sort of lean on occasionally if I have a problem that I don't know how to solve. Online, I'll watch anything. Can anyone the thing is, I'm a massive believer that you can learn something from every single person that you meet, and I think I learn more from the amalgamation of meeting 1,000 people than sort of one individual. And I'll try and chat to people that are good at specific things. There's not like one human who I think is the perfect human being. I'll try and pick things from so many different people.
Nice. And are there any kind of books, videos, podcasts that you kind of find yourself commonly recommending to people if they were to ask you, Ben, how did you do X or things like that?
And again, it's very similar. So I read a book ages ago, which I thought I would hate and I really liked. And I don't actually read that much. And it was called Poor Charlie's Almanac, which was by Charlie Munger. Or it's not a book, it's like an amalgamation of speeches, isn't it? Yeah. Which I thought was amazing. And there was one particular page, which I can just about remember, where I think it was on either one or two page where he broke down the entire success of the Coca-Cola brand. I remember thinking, wow, this is amazing. And I went into this book thinking, he's an investor, he's a financier, we will have nothing in common, he's an old bloke. Do you know what I mean? And I ended up thinking, wow, this is amazing, because he was very brand first. He talks about lots of different sort of psychological models. And basically, it's almost like, imagine you've got like a problem here, and it's about attacking this problem from a load of different angles in a load of different ways. And it's exactly the way that we and I try and solve problems at Gymshark and in life. So I found that book massively inspiring. And then, mulling around YouTube, I love your channel. You introduced me to Notion. Notion, genuinely life-changing. We've run almost everything on Notion now, don't we? From a creative point in the entire business, by the way, not just as in me personally. Okay. I run, I think you coined it like a life OS. I have my life OS. I have the professional life. Yeah. The different Gymshark stuff, everything's run on Notion, so that was life-changing too. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
And that's it. I just mull around the internet. Jordan Peterson. I love Jordan Peterson. I'm a massive, massive fan of him. I think he's brilliant. He's really helped me as well.
Yeah. Sick. I'd love to check out your Notion setup behind the scenes.
I was going to say, that's one of the things I thought, as we were driving down, I thought, I want to see your Notion setup. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
That would be pretty sick. Cool. And any sort of, let's say someone's watching this and they're thinking they want to get started being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Maybe they're sort of late teens, early 20s, haven't really started anything yet, but really inspired by you and your journey. Any kind of advice you'd give?
Yeah, I mean, it's fairly standard, right? You have to do what you love, because otherwise you'll end up giving up. I'm a firm believer now that there's no niche too small, like especially with the internet being so vast. I mean, I always think, and it sounds stupid saying it now, if I'd have said as a kid I want to be a professional gamer growing up, my mum would have been like, "You are nuts." Whereas now it's like a legitimate sport, career, and everything in between. Like, even I guess with yourself, it would have been so difficult for you to articulate what you do now as a kid.
Yeah.
I just think there's no niche too small. So I think whatever it is, double down on it and just genuinely give it a go. Like, Gymshark was the 7th business website product that I'd made, and the other 6 failed miserably. Now, unfortunately, that's not a sexy story, so no one talks about the failed apps, the failed websites. They only talk about the one that did well. And it's a consistent theme on everyone else that's successful that I've met. They've failed miserably so many times, and they've been endlessly optimistic about it, and they've just gone again and again and again.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that, like, I see this a lot with people starting YouTube channels, where there's this sense of, I have to get it right first time.
Yeah.
And if you look at the stats, like, the average YouTube channel takes 152 videos to get to 1,000 subscribers. And I get messages from people being like, you know, like, it took my channel 52 videos and 6 months to hit the first 1,000 subscribers. And that was like a lot faster than the average.
Yeah.
And so I get messages from people like 10 videos in being like, "Oh, this YouTube thing isn't working." Keep going.
Just try things, right? Just keep trying new things. Like, incremental improvement, I think, is so important as well. But yeah.
Sweet. Well, thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a lot of fun.
Been a good chat.
Good stuff.